Welcome, swim fans, to the Rochester Century Natatorium. Century hosts the Northfield Raiders in their third dual meet of the season. The Panthers started the season 2-0 and come off a big meet win on Saturday. For the first time, the Panthers have won the Lakeville Relays. This is a competition that features several of the top teams in the Twin Cities area, as well as Century's two main rivals in Section 1, Lakeville North and Lakeville South. It was a barn burner of a contest coming down to the very last swim of the meet, where Century held off Lakeville North for a 2-point win. In that win, Century won both the 100 fly relay in a meet record and also won the 100 IM relay in a 9-team field. Of the 12 events, Century never finished lower than 6th. Northfield comes in tonight with a record of 1-2. They had an easy win over Albert Lee and then tough losses to Farmington and John Marshall. Century has now run their win streak to an amazing 37 dual meets in a row, and they also have a 38-win home streak over the past 5 seasons that predates this new facility. Their last loss coming by 2 points to Farmington back in 2021, and their last home loss was back in 2017. Century hopes to keep this home pool advantage as they face Northfield this evening. Both Northfield and Century come off excellent seasons from last year and are the defending Section 1 champions in Class A and AA respectively. These teams did not get to meet in a duel last year. The dual meets are with other big name programs, and given the number of teams, there are years where they don't get to face off, and last year was one of those. This will be the toughest dual meet test for Century so far this season, given the depth and the returning experience that's coming from Northfield. The last time these teams competed together was in the Big Nine Championships last season, where Century won the overall Big Nine meet and Northfield finished a very close second ahead of Mayo and Winona. The big loss for Northfield was their stellar senior, Nora Cordium. Nora had 2 top 3 finishes in the Class A overall at state and will create some big shoes to fill. One of those people filling those shoes will be her sister Greta, who is now a junior and is the top returning swimmer for Northfield. The other 2 state qualifying swimmers to return for Northfield are also juniors, Addie Lloyd and May Bowers. Northfield has been a perennial contender in the state Class A, and last year they finished 11th, and with their 3 top returners, will be looking to keep that tradition going. In addition to those swimmers, here are some of the other swimmers swimming this evening or returning for Northfield. Ella Porter, senior, and Ella Holleran, senior. Juniors, Hollis Holden, Casey Larson, Madeline Hall, Natalie Barnesness. Sophomores, Hennessy Momberg, Riley Rinaldi, and freshman Violet Conell. Other swimmers that we might see in varsity events include Julia Feldhockey, Audrey Breen, Ruby Otterblad, Lucy Carlson, and Laurel Benson. The last 2, Lucy and Laurel, being new entrants for Northfield and only 7th graders. And we only have 1 returning diver from Northfield, Annika Cornita. So after looking at the Northfield team, let's talk a little bit about the matchups for this evening. As we look at the first event, the medley relay, we have 2 very closely seated teams. The Century A relay and the Northfield A relay are only 3 seconds apart. Century will have Sophie Blix, Quinn Barone, Chloe Magnuson, and Sarah Hami. Northfield will counter with Natalie Barnesness, Greta Cordium, Addie Lloyd, and Casey Larson. We then move to the 2 free, where the top swimmer for Century will be Kenzie Brockman, along with Chloe Magnuson, Ada Ekholm, and Maggie Huber, facing off against top-seeded Hollis Holden, along with May Bowers and Hennessy Momberg. Both teams are featuring a lot of top swimmers in almost every one of these varsity events, so we'll see battles from 1st all the way through 5th in almost every race. Moving to the 2 IM, we then have the top swimmer for Century will be Sophie Blix. She will be accompanied by Century's Addie Karam and Allie Poole. For Northfield, they will feature Laurel Benson, the 7th grader, along with Riley Rinaldi and Natalie Barnesness. We then move to the 50 free. 50 free will feature top seed for Northfield, Ella Porter. She will also have Addie Lloyd and Violet Connell swimming with her. For Century, they will have Carly Maley, Delia Wagstaff, Sarah Hami, and Megan Hami. In diving for Century, we will have Ariana Kruger, Kendall Langenbrunner, and Lily McGuire, along with Nora Jansen, Kate Kruger, and Paige Connors. For Northfield, they'll have Lola Bauman, Bella Han Duville, Elena Flynn, as well as varsity Bella Watney, along with Anakin Cortintia. We then move to the 100 butterfly. This has traditionally been a very strong event for Northfield, and they have their best swimmer, Greta Cordian, swimming this event. She'll be swimming it with another top swimmer from Northfield, Addie Lloyd, as well as Laurel Benson. Countering for Century will be their senior captain, Chloe Magnuson, along with Allie Poole, Quinn Barone, and Addie Taylor. For the 100 free varsity, we have top swimmer Sophie Blix, along with Addie Crom and Kenzie Brockman, facing off against Hollis Holden, Hennessy Momberg, and Audrey Breen. In the 500 free, we do have a JV heat as well as a varsity heat, so 2 heats of the 500. Again, very few meets will have that. And the top swimmer for Century will be Megan Hami. She will also have Chloe Vesterby, Ada Ekholm, and Katie Dow swimming with her. And for Northfield, they will have their top 500 swimmers, May Browers, Ella Porter, and Casey Larson. In the 200 free relay, again, seed times are a little bit different. The top swimmers for Northfield are in a few of the other events, but they still come in with the seed time of a 1:51, 2 Centuries 1:44. In the backstroke, the top swimmer for Century will be Delia Wagstaff. Also swimming for Century will be Kenzie Craddock, Quinn Barone, and Amelia Braun. For Northfield, they will have Ella Holleran, Natalie Barnesness, Lydia Hirschberger, and Emerson Carlson. And finally, in the 100 breaststroke, the top swimmer for Northfield and returning state entrant, Greta Cordium, will be accompanied by Summer Moeller and Riley Rinaldi. For Century, top swimmer will be Sarah Hami, accompanied by Carly Maley, Maggie Hubert, and Josie Bargfried. So that's the matchups for this evening. Enjoy the meet, root for your favorite swimmers. They can hear you when you're cheering into the screen. We'll get started in approximately 5 minutes.
think so. I know he just got the stuff.
We'd like to thank everybody for making the round to the Century Pool tonight. Whether it was just across town or across southern Minnesota. And we'd also like to thank our officiants for making their way for tonight's meet. I'd like to remind everybody that there's no flash bomb fee for bringing the meat, especially during the diving, and that the officiants would prefer if it was quiet during the starts. So once people are on the box, you can quiet yourself down. As is the case with everything, we have to start somewhere, and starting at the beginning is a good place to start. So we're going to start this off with event number 1. Does that make sense? Event number 1 is the Junior Varsity 200 medley relay. Northfield is going to be in the odds tonight, and Century is in the evens, so that means that Northfield is 1, Century is in 2, Northfield 3, Century 4, Northfield 5, Century 6, Northfield 7, Century in 8. I will announce the names of the swimmers when they are in the water, so you don't have to listen to me more than you normally will.
Working today. Yes, it is functioning between here and there. It's all ordered, it's all connected today, so we should be able to start tomorrow.
And we're off with event number 1, the girls 200-yard medley relay JV. All 8 lanes of the pool are full, so we've got a lot of swimmers and a lot of names to cover. Each swimmer will be doing a 50 and a different stroke. So leading it off in lane 4 for Century looks to be Mia Milosevic. Right next to her in lane 5 from Northfield is Lucy Carlson. And then lane 6, Nora Critch. Out in lane 8 for Century, Summer Wong looks to be 4th. 5th is Melody Ford, followed by Ellie Oting, Kyla Mead, and Bella Brusings. Now in the pool for Northfield, leading us is Summer Bowler. Right next to her from Century is Karina Brenes-Vados, and in lane 6, Cora Erickson. Those look to be your top 3 as they make the turn and the breaststroke. In 4th still is lane 8, Evelyn Arnold-Patterson, followed by lane 7, Maggie Turner. Then we have up in lane 2, Amelia Hanna and Jimmy Garcia from Northfield, and then Bella Hahn Duville. We're now in the butterfly, and it's lane 4 in the lead. That's Keaton Schonoff. She's battling Northfield's Eva Bauer, and they've really separated themselves from the rest of the field. And so it's going to be Keaton and Ava for the win here, and then the battle for 3rd will between lanes 6 and 7, and that is Bodie Funk for Century and Macy Krensky for Northfield. So we have the last swimmer in the water now for Century. That's Jada Kronig. Chasing her from Northfield is going to be Nora Flannery. Looks like 3rd is still Century, and that's now Lexi Grenz. She's being chased by Bella Watney from Northfield and Ariana Barrow from Century. We also have the last swimmers up in lanes 1, 2, and 3. That's Grace McKellen, Olivia Cornelius, and Catherine McCormick. The win's going to go to Century, followed by Northfield and Century. Announce the scores for the JV, but because of all the entrants from both teams, we will probably have a good JV score. And with a 1st and 3rd, Century takes an initial lead of 10-4.
Event number 2. Event number 2 is the varsity 200 meter relay. Swimming in lane 2 is Century, lane 3 is Northfield, 4 is Century, 5 is Northfield, 6 is Century, 7 is Northfield, and 8 is Century.
And off of event number 2, the 2 girls 200-yard medley relay. We have a different swimmer swimming the backstroke for Century this evening. That's Sophie Blixt. Jan Gingros is not here this evening, so Sophie's leading off this relay and in pretty strong fashion. It looks like a pretty good battle for second place between lane 3's Northfield's Ella Holleran and lane 5's Natalie Barnesness and lane 6 Century's Shannon Kim. So Sophie's going to touch in a 28.07 and give way to teammate Quinn Barone. Quinn's going to have about a 4-second lead over the competition. And it looks like in that second place is lane 6 and Chloe Vesterby. However, she's being chased by one of the top breaststrokers in the section, Greta Cordian. So as they make the turn, it's still Chloe, but really neck and neck now between her and Greta. And there's also battles up in lane 2 between Riley Rinaldi and Belia Wagstaff. So the third swimmer for Century is Chloe Magnuson. She's got even a bigger lead thanks to Quinn's 33.52. And chasing them now will be Northfield's Addie Lloyd against Century's Ada Ekholm, as well as Century's Addie Taylor against Northfield's Violet Cornell. Good battles here for second and fourth. As they come to the wall, Chloe's going to now give way to senior Sarah Hami. And Addie Lloyd with a very strong butterfly. She's going to come in at a 28.26 and open up about a 2-second lead for her teammate now, Cassie Larson. Cassie's going to be chased in lane 6 by Carly Maley. And up in lanes 2 and 3, we now have Megan Hami against Emerson Carlson for that 4th place spot. It's going to be Century winning in a time of 1:55. And it's going to be Northfield holding off the B relay of Century for second. And then 4th place will go to Century and 5th Northfield. With the first individual event, event 3, the girls 200-yard freestyle JV. The only swimmer who has swam this before this season is Ruby Otterblad, an 8th grader from Northfield. And she is between Century's Paige Pendle and Amelia Braun, who have both started out to an early lead. So we've got Century Northfield. And then 4th place is Century's Shea Carroll, followed by Northfield's Ella Welp. Also swimming for Northfield is Whitney Bauer and Fiona Flaherty. So maintaining that lead is Paige Pendle, followed by her teammate Amelia Braun. Paige made some huge strides and improvements last year and looks to be even a little bit faster this year. She's going to be in a good mix for some of the top relays for Century later on this season. Her and her teammate both split 35s, so they'll be looking at the mid-220s for finishing time. Very good times for a JV event. Still following closely them is Ruby. Then following behind them would be Shay and Ella in a nice battle for 5th place. Remember, the top 5 places in every event are the places that score points for your team. Taking the lead for Century now is Amelia Braun over Paige Pendle. After some 35s, Paige came back with a 38, so she's now going to have to hold off Ruby for that 3rd place finish. And Shay and Ella continue to trade splits, and almost a dead heat at 158s as they go to the last 50 for their battle for 4th. And it is going to be Amelia, and she's going to finish under the 220 mark, 219.89, with Paige in a 221 and Ruby in a 225. In that battle for 5th, it's still neck and neck. Shay and Ella, and stroke for stroke, it looks like Shay is going to hold on, and she is. Shay's in 4th and Ella's in 5th.
Results for event number 2, varsity 220 relay. In 3rd place, Century. 2nd place, Northfield. And 1st place, 155.55. Place for 97 and Bobby for Century. Up next is event number 4, the varsity 220 freestyle. Swimming in lane 2 for Century is Ada Echo. Lane 3 for Northfield is Nate Bowers. Lane 4 for Century's Kenzie Brockman. 5 for Northfield is Paul Spiller. 6 for Century's Chloe Magnuson. 7 for Northfield is Hennessy Hopper. And 8 for Century is Maggie Hubert.
With event 4, 200-yard freestyle. The favorite might be in lane 6. She hasn't swam it yet this year, but Chloe Magnuson is one of the 2 returning Century swimmers who made it to state last year. Chloe's best events are the 50 free and the 100 fly, but as a freestylist, this is still a distance where she'll be very strong in. We've got a 3-way battle currently for 2nd between Northfield's May Browers, Century's Kenzie Brockman, and Northfield's Hollis Holden. May and Hollis are 2 of Northfield's top distance swimmers. Hollis finished 6th in the section last year, and May was a top 8 finisher in the 500 free as well. So we continue to have Chloe Magnuson in the lead as we're coming up to the halfway point. Her teammate Kenzie Brockman is just about a half a stride ahead of Hollis Holden. And in a strong 4th position, we still have May Browers. Battling for that 5th spot is Ada Ekholm, Maggie Hubert, and Hennessy Mombert. Technically for the scoring, though, Maggie in lane 8 is not able to. So you're only able to enter 3 scoring places. So I will say the order of finish, but for scoring purposes, only swimmers in lanes 2 through 7 during this meet can score. So Chloe's going to lead it out to the last 50. And matching her stride for stride is teammate Kenzie Brockman. So Hollis Holding's going to really have to turn it on here if she's going to give chase. But that battle for 4th is now dead even. May Bowers and Ada Ekholm are stroke for stroke. And we're going to have a touch at the finish, it looks like, to determine that 4th place finish. So Chloe is going to hold off her teammate Kenzie, and she's going to be able to win this. Looks like about a 2:05. So Chloe comes in at 2:05, Kenzie 2:06. And in that battle for 4th is going to be Ada out-touching May. So Century goes 1-2-4.
Results for event number 3, the junior varsity 200 freestyle. 5th place for Northfield LML. 4th place for Century Shane Carroll. 3rd place for Northfield is Ruby Otterglad. 2nd place for Century is Paige Mendel. And 1st place for final time of 2:19.89 for Century. Caitlin Braun. Up next is event number 5. The junior varsity 200 IM. Swimming in lane 2 for Century is Addie Taylor. Lane 3 for Northfield is Jimmy Garcia. 4 for Century is Josephine Arcree. 5 for Northfield is Ray Davis. 6 for Century is Kenzie Bennett. And 7 for Northfield is Brett Peterson.
Event 5, girls 200 IM, JV. Top seed in this event is going to be lane 4, Century's Josie Barkfried. She comes in with a 2:37. That's 1 second ahead of teammate Addie Taylor. And also Kenzie Craddock doesn't have a time, so we might have a 3-way race between Century for those top 3 spots. It looks like the top flyer for this is going to be Kenzie, who touches just ahead of teammates Addie and Josie. Both Kenzie, Josie, and Addie are all pretty good backstrokers, so we don't expect to see a lot of change there. For Northfield, also kind of a dead heat with their 3 swimmers, Jimmy, Freya, and Greta. And as we thought, 3 pretty close backstrokes, a 38, a 37, and a 40. So it is going to be Kenzie with a slight lead over Addie and Josie as they make the turn and go into the breaststroke. Freya has opened up a little lead over her teammates Greta and Jimmy in the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. And it looks like Josie over Addie and Kenzie is liking this breaststroke look the most, as she, who started 3rd, has now surged into 1st place. So it looks like she's going to be the one leading her teammates into that final stretch. A lot could still happen though. This is a pretty long race for these swimmers in a part of the season where they're practicing really hard. So not a lot of extra reserves in the tank to try to dig deep for that last 50 free. And it is going to be Freya, Greta, and Jimmy in the same order as they finish their breaststrokes. So it looks like we've got a pretty good battle here for second. Josie's got that lead that she had from the breaststroke. And a pretty strong push up in lane 2 from Addie. And it is going to be Addie who out-touches Kenzie. 236, 237, 235. So all swimmers with a slight improvement. Nice race. Freya's going to finish in a 257, which is identical to the time that she swam last time. So nice consistency there from Northfield as well.
Results for event number 4 in the varsity 200 freestyle. 5th place for Northfield is May Bowers. 4th place for Century, Ada Ekholm. 3rd place for Northfield, Hollis Holden. And 2nd place for Century's Kenzie Brockman. And 1st place with the final time of 2:05:02 for Century, Chloe Magnuson. Up next is event number 6, the varsity 200 IM. Swimming in lane 2 for Century is Addie Crum. Lane 3 for Northfield is Marty Rafali. Lane 4 for Century is Sophie Blix. 5 for Northfield is Laurel Benson. 6 for Century is Allie Poole. 7 for Northfield is Natalie Parsons.
And we're off with the girls' 200-yard IM varsity. Top seed in this event is going to be lane 4, Century's Sophie Blix. The other 2 Century swimmers also don't have times, Addie Crum and Allie Poole, but this isn't necessarily their best event. But all the Century swimmers are going to swim different events throughout the season, as will Northfield. Northfield's top swimmer, Laurel Benson, is one of their best new swimmers and is only a 7th grader. Leading us out in a 29:04 is going to be Sophie. That's a little bit off her top pace, so I don't know we'll be seeing a pool record this evening, but still a nice start. Followed closely by teammates Addie Crum and Allie Poole, and then Laurel Benson, Riley Rinaldi, and Natalie Barsness. So as Sophie makes the turn, we only saw just about 2 or 3 underwater kicks from her. Usually if you're going to be able to go really fast, you're going to have to be underwater longer than that for both the butterfly and the backstroke. We now make the turn for the breaststroke, and her teammates are still almost deadlocked in that race for second. Both Addie and Allie touched in a 109. We're still followed by Laurel, and then the teammates Riley and Natalie are in a dead heat in that battle for the 5th place spot. To have a pretty comfortable lead, and she touches it at 57, so she'll be looking at about a mid-2:15 range to finish this event. And it looks like Addie did a little better job in that breaststroke than Allie, and is going to have about a 3 or 4 second lead going into the freestyle, but that's Allie's best event, so the battle for second might not be over in that one. Riley is a pretty strong breaststroker for Northfield. She made up a little bit of ground on Laurel, and now looks like she's ahead of her teammate Natalie for the 5th place spot. Sophie finishes in a 2:16.50, and it's going to be her teammate Allie with a furious finish to out-touch Addie in 2:27.41 versus 2:27.44.
Results for the 5 junior varsity 200 IM. In 5th place for Northfield is Brett Peterson. 4th place for Northfield is Rhea Davis. 3rd place for Century is Kenzie Craddock. 2nd place for Century We have Century across the board. Swimming in lane 2 is Kareem Hall. Lane 4 is Bryson Class. Lane 5 is Anna Michaels. Lane 6 is Sean Brown. Lane 7 is Kobe Funk. And lane 8 is Elizabeth Warhol.
And we're off with Heat 105 in the girls 50 free JV. This is a chance for some of the younger swimmers to see how they're doing in the training and practicing. For our younger swimmers, a lot of it is technique and stroke. So they're going to work on their start, they're going to work on their stroke, they're going to work on their breathing, they're going to work on their turns. And leading us in lane 7 looks like it's going to be one of those underclassmen, Bodie Funk, 7th grader. Also in lane 8 is a newcomer, Elizabeth Morcon. Always great to see someone come out and try a sport for the first time, and swimming is one of those sports that allows that to happen. So we have Bodie, followed by Brycelyn, Sophia, Elizabeth, and Nana, and then Kareem.
Heat number 2, swimming lane 2, 4 centuries, Iowa B. Lane 3, Lane 4 for centuries, Emma Wu. 5 for Northfield is Grace McClellan. 6 for centuries, Matilda Hammer. 7 for Northfield is Queen Austin. And 8 for centuries, Leila Hubert.
And we're off with Heat number 2. Now we have a mix of both Northfield and Century swimmers. And looks like lane 4. And these are seated by their time. So the top seated swimmer is Emma Wu. And she's got ever so slight a lead over teammates Kyla Mead and Matilda Hammer, as well as Leila Hubert. All these swimmers come in with a 32-second seed time, so it's going to be close. And it is Emma with the first 31 of the year for her, followed by Kyla, Layla, and Matilda. Then we have Grace McKellen, Senna Mossman, and Bella Han Duville for Northfield.
Number 3, swimming in lane 1 for Northfield is Emily Zella. Lane 2 for Century is Laura Birch. 3 for Northfield is Quinn Hall. 4 for Northfield is, or for Century is Eve Jonah. 5 for Northfield is Maggie Turner. 6 for Century is Queen Marcelo. 7 for Northfield is Zoe Robinson. And 8 for Century is Amelia Hannah.
And we're now off with Heat number 3, just like the last heat with the seedings. All of these swimmers for Century are seated in seconds of 31. So we'll see if anybody can crack that 31-second barrier from Heat number 3. Looks like the lead is lane number 4, Keaton Schoenoff. Closest challenger is lane 8, Amelia Hanna, then followed by Nora Critch and Karina Brenisvato. And it is going to be Keaton. And she does break that 31 barrier. So Keaton, Amelia, Nora, and then Karina Brenisvato. Followed by Maggie Turner, Zoe Robinson, Wynn Hall, and Haley Zeldin.
And heat number 4, swimming in lane 1 for Northfield is Kashaya Ramirez. Lane 2 for Century is Cora Harrison. 5 for Northfield is Bella Trustin. That's 3, 5 for Northfield is Lily 4, 7 for Northfield is Mason Lasky, and 8 for Century is India Rosewith.
And this is now the second to last heat for the girls 50 free. Seed times for Century are now in the 30-second range. And this will be the final exhibition heat, with the last heat being the heat where you score for the JV event. Leading us is up in lane 2, Cora Erickson, followed by lane 5, Melody Ford, and then lane 8, Mia Milosevic. And it's going to be Cora, followed by Mia, and then Melody. Fourth is Macy Krinsky, fifth Bella Brisnes, and sixth Keisha Ramirez.
And now the fifth and final heat of the 50 junior varsity group. Swimming lane 1 for Northfield is Margaret Ramirez. Lane 2 for Century's Katie Dow. 3 for Northfield is Catherine McCormick. 4 for Century's Lindsay Jensen. 5 for Northfield is Elizabeth McCormick. 6 for Century's Lexi Lenz. 7 for Northfield is Paula Flannery. And 8 for Century's Chloe Vesterby.
All right, we're off with the last heat of the JV 50. And it looks like we got a close battle. All these swimmers were seated about a second apart. And it looks like lane 4, Lizzie Jensen, is leading teammate Katie Dow and Lexi Grenz. And it is going to be Lizzie. Lizzie's going to finish in a 27:59, followed by Katie, Lexi, and then Chloe Vesterby, followed by Elizabeth McCormick, Nora Flannery, Catherine McCormick, and Margot Navarez.
And the results for number 6, the varsity 200 IM. In 5th place for Northfield is Riley Rinaldi. 4th place for Northfield is Laurel Benson. 3rd place for Century is Addison Cron. 2nd place for Century is Allie Poole. And 1st place with the final time of 2:16.50 for Century is Sophie Blix. Up next is number 8, the varsity 50. Swimming lane 2 for Century is Talia Wagstaff. Lane 3 for Northfield is Anne Boyd. 4 for Century is Courtney Manning. 5 for Northfield is Al Porter. 6 for Century is Sarah Hopping. 7 for Northfield is Violet Cole. And 8 for Century is Megan Hopping.
And we're off at the 50 free. We've got 6 of the 8 swimmers with a 27 qualifying time, so this is literally anybody's race. And off to the early lead looks to be lane 4 and Carly Maley. The teammate Sarah Hami, though, has got a great turn. And it looks like now they're dead even as they go to the wall. And it is going to be the senior who's going to take it, Sarah over Carly. Delia gets 3rd, followed by Ella, Megan, Addie, and Violet. And we'll turn it over to my partner in the live stream announcing, Brian Lucier, for the diving portion of our duel.
All right, good evening. Switching announcers, I'm Brian. Joining you, I'll be doing diving here tonight again. Taking over for John. We got a good batch of divers here. Looks like there are 11 of them, so we'll keep it moving here. The required category is inward. They cycle them around. It's like no in order. When they say category, they all are required to do a dive from the inward category. Usually it means it's a straight inward dive. It doesn't have to be. An inward dive is where they're line up backwards, facing the wall, and they have to lean forward into the diving board to complete the dive. It's called an inward dive category. They can throw anything they want from that category. It starts with 400 if you look at the names of the dive. The thing is, when they do, it's called a voluntary dive category. They can't score anything above a 1.8. They can do whatever they want. You just can't score anything above a 1.8 difficulty. So usually you see divers just doing the regular, it's called a required dive, which is like the straight dive. And I'll look at their list here real quick, and that's what they're all doing, inward dives and tucker or pike. One of them doing an inward somersault, which is a 1.6 difficulty on a cruiser. And that satisfies the inward dive category. On top of that, then they do 5, it's called optional dive categories, and they can be any categories they want, but it has to be 4 different categories from the other categories. Those are forward, back, inward, reverse, twisters. So you'll see a variety of other things here. I'm looking over the lists, and we're getting a lot of different somersault, forward somersaults, backward somersaults, as you'd expect. Watching the divers warm up, and from last week, it was kind of, at least in warm-ups, the Century divers, I saw improvement, so hopefully that translates to the meet. I liked what I saw in warm-ups. They were throwing good dives, so I'd like to see that improvement, and hopefully it translates to score. So Northfield has some new divers. They don't have returning divers from last year, so they are probably expected, Century's probably expected to sweep the meet here, but you never know. So the dive, that's a diver thrown away from the diving board, and it gets judged off a little bit when the diver goes away from the diving board, and so you'll see that reflected in the score a little bit. Some problems with the scoring pads apparently, so we'll figure it out here. If they have to, they'll have manual report. That's what they had to do in my day.
Okay. So the score is a 12.
Like it did not calculate the degree of difficulty, so.
Hey, press enter. You're supposed to press enter.
Calculate the degree of difficulty on that, but. Dale, he kind of hits up the technology, he's running down, they'll figure it out. One of them's not reporting. And hopefully we get this moving, because we got a lot of divers.
Fun fact, in addition to many of his different coaching capabilities, Dale also tends to be the built-in tech.
So last week, from Century. Kendall won the meet with a score of 155, and Lily got second with 156. They're going to be looking to improve those marks. Ariana Kruger beat her sister by 5/100ths of a point, flip-flopping the previous week where Kate won. So I imagine that was a subject of dinner conversation, and I'm guessing they will be battling here tonight. Ariana looked really good in warm-ups, and I expect her score to creep up. And I wouldn't be surprised to see her challenging Lily and Kendall, but we shall see what the judges think. Now we're going to be underway. Looks like they got their problems figured out.
1.3 on deck is Little Bowman.
So forward dive in pike position. She's not doing an inward dive in from the required category. You don't have to when you're an exhibition diver, and she's registered as an exhibition diver.
Score is 12.35.
It was a good looking dive. A little far away from the board. It happens when you're the shoulder position isn't quite right on takeoff, and that's something young divers often kind of take a while to get dialed in. It's kind of a rounded looking pike. I'd like to see her kind of drive her hips up a little bit more to get a sharper pike. It was a good distance from the board, and she didn't have a bad entry. Little better scores.
9.5. Nora Jensen, dive 401C inward dive top. Degree of difficulty 1.4. On deck is Paige Connors.
All right, Nora with an inward dive. That didn't look too bad. She actually had a pretty good distance from the board. She had a little scissor from her legs, and and the judges see sometimes affects the score.
On deck is Kate Kruger.
That's a really good looking inward dive. Very good entry. She did what's called a rip entry. 21 points. She scored higher last week on that, if I remember right. That's a good looking dive. She has a very nice looking pike. It was a good distance from the board, and she had a very good entry. She scored well on this last week. I expect this to be good scores too. 23.25. It's a good dive. It's right on. It's a little bit higher than she did last week. Yeah. Good job, Kate.
1.6. On deck is Annika Portman.
Over on that somersault. She's got a really good position in the air in her tuck, and she comes out of it really well. I like the form, how she comes out of the tuck, but it was a little bit over. Nevertheless, she scored more points than she did last week on the same dive.
On deck is Lily McGuire.
Really She didn't look like she was happy with it, but I thought it was a pretty decent dive. I saw her warming it up, and see a little shoulder shrug there at the end off deck. That's a beautiful inward dive. She has a great reach off the board. She reaches really high up, and it just rides the board high. Very small stature, but she uses all of the board, and judges love to see that. I expect a high score. And it's a 6 from judge, so well done. So Lily didn't come completely out of her tuck. It would be great if she straightened out all of it. I don't know if she thought she was going to throw it over. She got a good ride off the board, but I think I've seen her do that better. It was a well done dive. I just seen her do it better. So she's still kind of learning how to use the board on an approach. I can tell she's a beginning diver because of that. It takes a lot to learn how to do an approach right and use the board so it throws you right. And that's why she gets kind of tossed off the board. But she's trying to figure it out. That's what coaches are for, and it often takes multiple seasons to get that right. She had a good approach and kind of a good ride off the board. She didn't quite drive her body around, so kind of like pulling into the board, and she just couldn't quite get the rotation there, and that's going to score.
Nora Jensen, dive 201A, back dive straight, 1.7.
All right, so Nora's kind of got that style where she just keeps her hands above her head and reaches for the water. I'd like to see her learn how to pick up post her arms. It did cause her to wash over and her feet scissors. The exact same score she got last week. So.
Somersault tuck, 1.6.
Yeah, so Paige was nailing that in warm-up, so she did the same thing there. So tiny bit of a knee buckle when she was entering, but I thought she did the dive really well. I expect a good score there.
23.20. Dive at 403C, inward 1.5 top, 2.2.
So you could tell she was nervous about that dive. I saw her warming up one time. Okay, she was a little short on that. She was hesitant on the takeoff there. You know, she has the rotation. Kate can do that dive. She was a little short landing it. I think she can nail it. I think once she's sure she can get that, she's going to nail it. It's going to be a great dive. Still scored 24 points, but I think she's going to get that much higher. Ariana still has that kind of beautiful tuck position. She really good form in the tuck and coming out of it. She was short there, unfortunately. I saw her hit that a lot better in warm-up. So she did complete the dive, but being short like that does cost some points. She barely got that around, and she knew it. So she landed that tuck for dear life. You get your rotation on an inward by driving your hips backwards, and she didn't have a hip drive. The legs behind it. She'll learn that. She'll learn that as she practices it more. That was a really good position for the back somersault. Straight a little bit off the board. She entered the water well and had a really good no splash entry. I expected a decent score.
3.80. Milwaukee, dive 402C, inward somersault top, 1.6.
Slow rotation. She kind of had to fight to get that around. She did get it around, but she didn't quite come out of the puck all the way. This is kind of the same thing. She's got to learn to kind of drive her hips off the board and get her feet going behind her.
18.40. Kendall Langenbrunner, dive 402C, inward somersault top, 1.6.
So that was a very beautiful done inward one somersault. She fully came out of it, full extension, pointed toes. I expect this to be a really good score.
28.0. Round 3. Alana Flynn, dive 201A, back dive straight, 1.7. Bella Antuco, dive 102B, forward somersault height, 1.5.
All right, we see one in pike position right there. She had a pretty good looking pike position and came out of a well. That's a hard dive to come out of well and not like wash over onto your face, and she did control it well.
102C, forward somersault top, 1.4.
Right, she looked like she thought she was going over on that dive. You kind of saw her reach forward with her arms like she's guarding an entry. I didn't really need to, but sometimes in a new pool, you're not really sure where you are. She had a good entry in the water. It's a hard dive to do because she did most of her twist off the board. You'd like to see it done in the air. Judges will usually dive for that. But honestly, it's a very difficult dive to do that twist in the air. But entry looked good. Wow, it was really well done dive by Paige. She had a great pike position, and it was a good distance from the board. She rode the board well and nailed the entry. Really well done.
Kate Kruger done 103B, forward 1.5, pike 1.7.
That's a beautiful dive she does. She did great on that. She got scored like 25 points on that last week or something like that. We'll see what she gets. But she's got a great position in the air and a good entry. 27 points, yeah.
Ariana Kruger dive 103B, 1.5, forward 1.5, pike 1.7.
This is where she beat her sister last week. She got 30 points on this dive. She's got a really beautiful pike position in the air and just glides into the water. She didn't execute it as well. Into 28 points. Still a well done dive.
Dive 202C, back somersault top 1.5.
No problem getting that tuck around. Something she could do probably a straight position easily. But she completed the dive well, and I expect decent scores there.
20.25. Lily McGuire dive 52.22D, back somersault full twist.
She was nailing these last week. She's got such a good twist in the air. Now, that one was a little further off the board. She didn't throw it as far up as she did last week. I don't think it's going to score the 28 points she got. Wrong. She got 28 and a half.
Milwaukee dive 201A, back dive straight 1.7.
It was a well-done dive. She kind of had an arched entry. She reached for the water a little too soon, but I'm being kind of nitpicky on this.
22.95. Kendall Langenberger, dive 202A. Back somersault straight 1.7. On deck is Bethel Dugal.
So she's got a beautiful flying position in the air, and she nailed the entry. She scored well on this last week, right around 27, 28 points. Let's see if she gets the same thing again. Yeah, they're almost 29 points. That's a well done dive by Kendall.
Dugal, dive 5211A, back dive half twist straight 1.8.
Said before, it's such a hard dive to make look good. You can So she couldn't control her legs. You kind of saw them like flying all over the place at the end. And it's like this thing that judges see. It hurts the score a little bit.
C forward dive top 1.2.
There we go, classic tuck front dive, like the water drill. It's a great way to practice for rip injuries, and as an expedition diver, it's a good experience.
Nora Jensen dive 101A forward dive straight 1.4.
She's still working on like reaching up first, so it caused her to fly out. It's a shoulder position thing and an approach thing, and expect her to get better on that as she gets more experience. She got more points than last week. So.
1.6.
There you go, Paige. I thought that was a well done dive. It's like, she controlled it well in the air. She has kind of a slow rotation, but you don't need a fast slow rotation on it if you get to ride the board like that.
2.40. Kate Kruger dive 104C forward double somersault top 2.2.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Kate. That might have hurt a little bit. She did that a lot better in warm-ups, and I'm guessing she's going to be disappointed because she was nailing that in warm-ups, but I think she just didn't get all of the board, and it caused her to come up short. I wonder if they're discussing if her head hit first because it was close. I don't think so.
14.30.
Yeah, they are giving her like the 2-point deduction. So good. She is laughing because if they were concerned, she could have been hurt. On the spin, and she nailed the entry. Wow. She's been kind of struggling with the timing and warm-up and stuff, but she nailed it there. I wonder if she spins with her eyes closed, but she got it. She got the timing there. And she's got such a beautiful tuck position, so she loves it. Yeah, almost 40 points, yeah. See, she did twist in the air, as opposed to I was saying before, twisting off the board, and that is better than twisting in the air. It's just harder to control. You saw that kind of, okay, how do I stop myself? Motion at the very end.
18.90. Lily McGuire dive 301B, reverse dive plank 1.7.
So Lily's got a wonderful reverse play. 2 feet closer to the board is what I'd like to see, but I love the position in the air, and she pops out of it really well.
26.35. Ella Watkey dive 202A, back somersault straight 1.7.
Tiny bit. And that's just a little bit. That was well done dive. Now Kendall scored 30 points on this dive last week. So we'll see if she can do this again. She's got a really good twist. She was a tiny bit under on the twist there. She didn't quite get it all the way around. It's not going to dive territory, but she didn't quite get the twist all the way around. And if the judges saw that, they would have done
25.65.
it. They did, so that's why she didn't get the 30 points.
Round 5. Bella on dual.
The form is good.
51-21 D forward somersault half twist free 1.7.
Alright, you kind of saw the legs like split apart at the end, and you like to keep those together. Have a very better score. And she got the twist, and she didn't like wash her body over. A lot of times that happens on that little twisting dive.
B back somersault pipe 1.6.
It was a good throw off the board. I like to see how her arms are pinned to her side on the entry. So that was coaching or well done. It shows good control.
20.80. Nora Jensen dive 202C back somersault top 1.5.
All right, so she landed well. I'd like to see her get her arms down on the entry rather than up. But she had a pretty decent distance from the board.
50.0. Paige Connors dive 51-21 D back somersault half twist free 1.7. Front somersault, sorry, 51-21 D forward somersault half twist free 1.7.
All right, so she almost failed that dive last week, so she got the twist around this time. That flying arm at the end is like she's trying to control that rotation, you know, because she was way over on rotation. Didn't quite control it. She watched over. It's better than almost failing it, so I'm glad she got that around. Right, other than the takeoff was a little choppy. The board slap. It means she didn't get all of the board, but you know she executed the dive well and she entered well. She just didn't get the height she could have got.
24.0. Ariana Kruger dive 302C reverse somersault top 1.6.
Because she saved the entry there. She was going to go way over, and she just kind of like, instead of straightening all the way, she was actually kind of slid in, and that was a good save. She had the rotation that snapped her out.
Annika Corinta dive 51-21 D forward somersault half twist free 1.7.
Was she grabbing her nose at the end there? I wasn't sure. She did get that twist around, barely, and then kind of washed over. That happens so often on that half twisting dive.
20.40. Lily McGuire dive 101B forward dive plank 1.3.
Wow, it's a beautiful pike position. That slap on the water is called a rip entry, and she ripped it. You can't hear the slap. I can hear the slap. You can see the bubbles.
24.70. Bella Watney dive 52-21D back somersault half twist free 1.7.
Wow, really well done. I hated that dive when I was a diver, but she actually executed it really well and kind of slid into the water in the appropriate position. I'm surprised she didn't get a higher score. I thought it was executed really well.
52.23D back somersault, 1.5 twists, free, 2.3.
32 points on the 3 points. And she just whips that twist around. She's so quick in the air and just slides into the water. That's a great dive for her. I just love how she twists in the air. So it's so controlled. And hits the body position, just nails it into the water.
Round 6, Bellamont Duval, dive 202C, back somersault top, 1.5.
I think she heard us out. So they are allowed to start an approach and stop it there, kind of. At some point it's called a balk, but the judges do give grace, especially for an exhibition diver. Right. Watching her warm up, she did that one better than her warm up, so she probably feels good about that.
18.0, Nora Jensen, dive 402C, inward somersault top, 1.6.
She lost herself in the air, and that's a failed dive, and she knows it. I think that's a newer dive for her, I suspect.
Paige Connors, dive 202C, back somersault top, 1.5.
She warmed that up so much better. She was just leaning off the board when she took off, and it just caused herself to launch like back into the loon rope, and that's unfortunate because it looked a lot better when she warmed it up. But she had a good entry, but it cost her probably 2 full points per judge. All right, good entry on that twist. She twisted in the right spot, too. I thought it was going to be under-rotated, but she actually nailed the entry, so.
23.75. Ariana Kruger, dive 52.21D, back somersault, half twist, free, 1.7.
She managed to not wash that over, which I've mentioned is so hard not to do. She's got such a good entry. Rolled up just slightly above what she did last week.
103C, forward 1.5, tuck, 1.6.
It looked like she didn't know where the water was there. She had the rotation, but she didn't quite know how to enter the water. So that's why the sloppy entry there.
17.60, Lily Wire, time 103B, forward 1.5, tight, 1.7.
Okay, really well executed in there. Her legs kind of slapped over a little bit. She kind of needed parallels into the water. It's part of a rip entry. I'm nitpicking a little bit.
7.20. Bella Rocky, dive 101.80, forward dive 1.3.
Well, that's a good pike. She didn't straighten out all the way. I think she could have, because she had a good position in the air. The entry was good, but I think just a little bit more body straightening position at the end will get her another full point.
103B, forward 1.5 pike, 1.7.
She had great height and good ride off the board. She pulled it a little short. I think it was, I don't know, she had the height there. I think she just needed to kick her legs up a little bit.
27.20, and this concludes diving.
All right, so it looks to me like, it's like Ariana. As I said, she was warming up really well, and she won the meet. 173 points. That, if I'm not mistaken, is her personal best. 100, it's the best this year for sure. I don't know what her best in history is. And Kate Langenbrunner with 168. That's her best of the year, I believe, too. And third place goes to Lily McGuire at 154. And Lily, 154 will not be her best. She got 156 last year. But it was a good meet by the Century Divers. Kate Kerr, 136. That's kind of right on par with what she's been getting. She did get a 147. And that's it for diving. I'll hand you back to John. He'll take over for swimming. There's going to be a warm-up period again, and then we'll get back to the swimming portion of the meet.
junior varsity 100 butterfly. Swimming in lane 1 for Northfield is Jimmy Garcia. Lane 2 for Century is Stella Morris. Lane 3 for Northfield is Ian Hirschberger. Lane 4 for Century is Peach Mello. 5 for Northfield is Abby Power. 6 for Century is Bobby Funk. And 7 for Northfield is Ella Welch.
And we're off with the girls' JV 100-yard butterfly. We start the second half of the meet. And out quick in lane 4, Paige Pendle. Paige comes in with a 1:14. She could very easily be one of the top 4 swimmers for Century at sectionals as well. So again, very strong team for Century with Paige swimming the top JV spot. Following Paige is teammate Stella Morris, and then Northfield's Evie Bauer. And then we've got almost a dead heat between Ella Welp and Bodie Funk. And rounding out the field is Jimmy Garcia. So a little slow down in tempo for Paige. She's not going to have quite as good a split on the back half, and that is most definitely the case on almost all of these butterflies. The arms start getting tired, and it's hard to keep that tempo up. And the strokes seem to just take longer and longer to get from point A to point B. And there it is with Paige. She's still going to beat her previous time, though. Nice 1:13.60. Evie's going to come in second. And then we're going to have Bodie, Ella, and then Stella.
And the results for event number 10, varsity diving. In 5th place for Northfield is Anna Corita. 4th place for Northfield, Belawani. 3rd place for Century is Willie McGuire. 2nd place for Century is Hillary Langenberger. And 1st place with final score of 173.00 for Century is Ryan Berger. Up next is event number 11, the varsity butterfly swimming in lane 2 for Century is Atlee Poole, lane 3 for Northfield is Griffin Prepare. Lane 4 for Century is Logan Magnuson, lane 5 for Northfield is Annie Pauling, 6 for Century is Cody Brown, 7 for Northfield is Laurel Benson, and 8 for Century is Addie Taylor.
And we're off at event 12, girls 100-yard butterfly. Century has a comfortable lead in the overall dual score, but this looks to be a very competitive race. Top swimmers Addie Lloyd and Greta Cordium going against Chloe Magnuson, Allie Poole, Quinn Barone, and Addie Taylor from Century. And it looks like Chloe's out to a nice lead, followed closely by Greta and Addie. And battling Addie for third is going to be Quinn. So we've got 4 swimmers under 31 out the turn. Those are some really fast times. You see how well they hold on. Chloe's got a really nice tempo going, as does Greta in lane 3. It looks like Greta's going to be the biggest competition. And then out in lane 6, Quinn Barone looks like she's passed Addie Lloyd for that 3rd place spot. And Allie Poole has moved into a race for 4th as well. So it's going to be Chloe with the win, followed by Greta, Quinn, Allie, and Addie.
next is an event of the 13th Junior Varsity 100 free. There are 3 heats of the JV 100 free. The first heat is Northfield across the board. In lane 1, we have Zoe Robinson. Lane 2, we have Grace McClellan. Lane 3, Kim Hall. Lane 4, Ethan Zeladon. Lane 5, Kishaya Ramirez. Lane 6, Sarah. Lane 7, Fiona Flanagan.
And we're off with the first heat of 3 for the girls' 100-yard junior varsity. Again, we talked earlier about the depth of both of these teams. To see this many entrants from Northfield in the harder of the 2 sprint events, the 100 free, pretty impressive. And all of these ladies have swam it before, so they'll be looking to better their times from Pereira meets. Leading us in lane 5 looks like it's Shia Ramirez, followed by Zoe Robinson and Fiona Flannery. So Kashia in a 39.71. She's going to have to come back pretty quick to be able to beat her entry time of a 1:23. Looking at the other entry times, the other swimmers look like they're pretty in line with their previous scores. The next best seed time, lane 3, is Quinn Hall. And it is Quinn who's slightly behind Kishia for this heat's win. And yeah, so 1:22.82, so nice. Little improvement for all the swimmers here. Good to see. And we're off with heat number 2. We have 3 Century swimmers and 4 Northfield swimmers in this heat. And out to the early lead in lane 5 is Margot Navarez. Margot is just a 7th grader, and she's being chased by 8th grader Nora Flannery. We're now getting a challenge out in lane 8 from Ariana Bureau. And it's Ariana who's going to take the touch in a 34.38. So the outside smoke in lane 8 is going to lead us here. And Margot is still holding down 2nd. The battle for 3rd now includes Evelyn Arnold-Patterson and Summer Wong. Come to the finish, and those swimmers are still holding those positions. It looks like Margot's gaining though. Nice late surge. And is she going to pass Ariana at the touch? Yes. 1:14.10, 1:14.21. Then followed by Nora, Summer, and Evelyn. And we're off with the last heat of the girls' JV 100-yard freestyle. Pretty good starts across the board for these swimmers. Top seed by time is lane 4, Lizzie Jensen. And she's going to hit the wall first, and a very nice turn gives her a little bit of a lead over lane 5's Ruby Otterbald and lane 6's Shannon Kim. So it's going to be Lizzie touching in a 28.91 ahead of Shannon and Ruby. The battle for fourth is going to be Elizabeth McCormick in lane 7 and lane 1 Summers Moeller. So Lizzie's going to take it. It's pretty strong here. And her teammate Shannon made a nice push at the end. So we're going to have Century finish 1-2 here in this 100 free. Lizzie and Shannon. And Ruby's going to get third. And which teammate of hers is going to get the fourth place spot? That's Emerson Carlson, followed by Summer, Elizabeth, and Shannon.
And the results were at number 12, the varsity number 5. In fifth place for Northfield is Annie Lloyd. Third place for Centuries is number 2. Third place for Centuries is Crow. Second place for Northfield is Victor Frank. And first place for final time of 1-0. Century is Chloe Magnuson. Up next is number 14, the varsity number freestyle swimming in lane 2 for Centuries and Annie Crum. Lane 3 for Northfield is Nancy Hoffler. 4 for Centuries, Sophie Nixon. 5 for Northfield is Hollis Holden. 6 for Century is Nikki Brockman. And 7 for Northfield is Harlan Brockman.
And we're off with event 14, the girls' 100-yard freestyle. Favorite in this event again going to be in lane 4, Sophie Blixt. Sophie's out to a nice lead over lanes 3, Hennessy Momberg, and lanes 5, Hollis Holden. Also in the mix is lane 6, Kenzie Brockman for Century. Rounding out the top 5 is going to be Addie Crom up in lane 2. So Sophie touches in a 26.52. It looks like about a 54.55 coming back for her. And her teammate Kenzie Brockman has gotten into the lead, followed by Hollis and then Addie. Battle for fifth is going to be between Hennessy and Aubrey. So Sophie's going to touch in a 55.76. Followed by Kenzie and Hollis. Fourth place does go to Addie Crom. And that fifth place is going to come down, and it looks like Aubrey.
Results for event number 13, the junior varsity 103. In fifth place for Century is Shea Carroll. Fourth place for Northfield, Elizabeth McCormick. Third place for Northfield is Emerson Carlson. Second place for Century, Shannon Kim. And first place for the final time of 1:00:42 for Century, Lizzie Jensen. The next event is event number 15, the junior varsity 500 freestyle. Swimming in lane 1 for the JV 530 for Northfield, it is Catherine McCormick. Lane 2 for Century is Amelia Ham. Lane 3 for Northfield is Chanel Otto. 4 for Century's Amelia Hammer. 5 for Northfield is Emma Holloway. 6 for Century is Jada Crennick. 7 for Northfield is Lucy Carlson. And 8 for Century is Anita Rosbeck.
And we're off at event 15, girls 500-yard free JV. I'm pretty sure for the rest of the dual meets, we will not see 8 swimmers in a JV event. So, again, kudos to those ladies swimming this event. This is the longest and hardest event in the program. And to see 8 entrants and girls who have swum it before. So we might even have some racing here, even though it's pretty easy for the swimmers to get spread out. Taking the early lead looks to be Eller Holleran from Northfield, followed closely by Amelia Hammer. We then have Mia Milosevic, Lucy Carlson, Jada Kronig, and Kathy McCormick, all touching in 34-35. And rounding out the field is Amelia Hammer and Ellie Otting. The 150-yard mark, we've got a nice duel in the center of the pool between Ella and Amelia, both splitting in 37s. So even though Ella has a little over a second lead overall in the race, they both swam the last 50 in almost the identical times. And that's usually the best indicator for what might happen in the next 350 yards of the race. After Amelia and Ella, the battle for third now is Mia Milosevic with a slight lead over Lucy Carlson and Jada Cronin, followed by Catherine McCormick, Ellie Otting, and Amelia Hanna. The senior, Ella from Northfield, is starting to open up a little bit of a lead. And this isn't typically her event, but she's putting in some good splits. And right behind her still is Amelia. Third place has now been taken over by Lucy Carlson, who's got a slight lead over Mia Milosevic. Still following them is Jada Cronin, Ella Otting, Catherine McCormick, and Amelia Hanna. As we come down to the last 200 of this race, Amelia is starting to pull even with Ella. Pretty slow turn for Ella. Sometimes what you'll see is swimmers try to take some extra breaths before they go into the wall and start that next turn and down the pool. So Ella and Amelia flip together, both in around 40-41 seconds. And so the lead they have will probably keep them in first and second, but it's really going to be anybody's race now for the win. Lucy Carlson continues to make slight inroads in leading Mia Milosevic. And lane 3's Ellie Otting has a nice push as she's now caught up with Jada Cronin. So as we come down to the last 100, it's Amelia Hammer. And Amelia looks like she's in a pretty good position. She's got now about a 2-second lead over Ella. That third place is still with Lucy and Mia. And fifth place now has been taken over by Ella Otting, who's making a push to try to catch Lucy and Mia. There's the bell lap for the last 50. Mia's now got almost a 4-second lead, so it's a really nice comeback for Amelia. She held those 39 pace counts, and she's going to win this JV event, hopefully in a time that beats her qualifying time of a 6:36. Looks like she'll be comfortably under that. We still have Lucy following Ella, and then Mia, and then that final battle is going to be for that 5th place spot. As Ellie Otting is still trying to catch Mia Milosevic. So Amelia Hammer in a 6:19, nice 4-second drop, touches over Ella, and then we'll have Lucy finishing in a 6:38. 4th place will go to Mia, followed by Ellie.
Results for event number 14, the varsity 100 freestyle. 5th place for Northfield is Audrey Ryan. 4th place for Centuries Addie Prom. 3rd place for Northfield Hollis Holden. 2nd place for Centuries Kenzie Rockman. And 1st place for Collins Honor 55-76 for Centuries Sophie Place. Up next is event number 16, the varsity 500 free. Swimming in lane 2 for Centuries Chloe Vesterby, lane 3 for Northfield is Kate Bowers, 4 for Centuries Megan Hoppy, 5 for Northfield is Ella Horner, 6 for Centuries Ada Ekholm, 7 for Northfield is Casey Larson, and 8 for Century is Katie Dow.
We're off with event 16, girls 500 free varsity relay. We've got 7 entrants, so we've got an extra swimmer, a bonus swimmer in lane 1 again for Century. That's senior Katie Dow. This is not an event Katie normally swims, and so as a senior, this might be the last time she gets to swim in this 500 free event. After the first 50 is going to be lane 4, Megan Homme, but we've got a pack of swimmers all within a second of each other. So that includes Chloe Vesterby, May Browers, Ella Porter, Ada Ekholm, and Cassie Larson. And it looks like Cassie out in lane 7 is going to take the lead at the 100-yard mark. Cassie with a 34 compared to 35s and 36s is going to have better, as all 7 swimmers are still within 3 seconds of each other. Northfield that continues to set the pace. It's 5:30 with Cassie, Ella, and May now occupying the top 3 spots. Still in the mix, though, and still in touch is lane 4's Megan Hami and lane 6's Ada Ekholm. This is a pretty strong event for Cassie. She finished 11th in this event in both sections in Big 9 last year, and in a time of a 5:37. So we're not going to see times that quick, but this is an event that she's done and done well in the past. The race behind her has tightened up even more as May, Megan, and Ella pretty much already turned together. And then they're going to be followed by Ada, Chloe, and Katie. So Cassie's at the halfway point, about a 5:55. And she's still leading her teammate May by a little over a second. So we could see 4 swimmers right around that 6-minute mark as we finish this very long race up. And don't count out lane 4, Megan Hami, as they hit the 300-yard mark. It's Megan who has the best split on the time. So if she can keep that up, she might gain even a little bit of ground on Cassie as well as May and Ella. And it is going to be Megan who touches again with the best split. I think she's pushed these other swimmers as the times now have all drifted down into the low 36s. So again, we have 5 swimmers all within 1 second splits. This is some real excellent racing as we head to the last 200 yards of this event. And it's now May that's taken up the mantle of chasing Megan. As Megan now drops down into the 34s, May goes with her with a 35. So Cassie's dropped off a bit. So we now have Megan, May, Cassie, and Ella. And making a push for that 5th place spot is Ada Ekholm, who has gained about a second on Ella over the last 50 yards. So we now have a 2-swimmer race as we go to the last 50. Megan and May, almost identical splits. And it's going to be a sprint to the finish. We'll see if Cassie can hold on to that 3rd place over teammate Ella and a hard-charging Ada Ekholm in lane 6. As they turn for home, it's still neck and neck. We start to see the bubbles behind the swimmers. The kick is in. They're now giving it all they've got. The crowd comes to life. With a few nice strong strokes, it is going to be Megan. Very nice 5:49. Out touching May for her 1st place. Cassie's going to hold on for 3rd. 4th place to Ella and 5th place to Ada. Great race, ladies. And we're off with the dash and splash, the 200-yard freestyle relay. Each swimmer is going to do the shortest distance, the 50 yards, and turn it over to their teammates. We've got 7 lanes occupied with swimmers, so lots of names to cover, and leading them off looks to be Northfield's Elizabeth McCormick, followed by Shay Carroll, and then Freya Davis and Matilda Hammer. Second swimmer for Northfield is going to be Ella Welp. She's being chased by Century's Kyla Mead and Century's Karina Venespato. Some nice long reach for Karina as she looks to gain on Ella. Also in the water for Century is Evelyn Arnold Panderson, Northfield Macy Kresge, Northfield Zoe Robinson, and Century's Corrine Follet. So with a nice push now, Century's in first and goes to Keaton Schonoff. She's going to be racing Summer Moeller and Summer Wong. So we've still got a little summertime here in this 200 free relay, as that is your battle for the top 3 spots. Also in the water is Bryson Gladys, Nora Flannery, Fiona Flattery, and Elizabeth Morecombe. Anchoring for Century is going to be Amelia Hammer. Yes, that's the same Amelia who just finished the 500 free about 10 minutes ago. That's always a tough turnaround for swimmers after a long distance race to turn around and sprint in this freestyle relay. We've got almost a dead heat now for the second place, so Century A is going to win it, but it's Catherine McCormick and Layla Hubert neck and neck, and it looks like it's going to be Layla who's going to take the second place for Century. Then we have lane 2, Olivia Cornelius, followed by Northfield's Greta Peterson, and then rounding out the finish will be Jimmy Garcia and Sophia Schomburg. And we're off with the girls' 200-yard freestyle varsity. Leading it off in lane 4 for Century is going to be Sophie Blixt. She's going to take the lead at the first turn. And it looks like she's going to be chased by Northfield's Hollis Holden in lane 3 and Ella Porter in lane 5. Also in the mix, lane 6 is Kenzie Brockman. Sophie touches in a 25-21. And is going to give way to Sarah Hami. Looks like Century's B relay is Paige Pendle, followed by Addie Lloyd and Violet Cornell. Also swimming second is Bella Anduvel, Maggie Hubert, May Bowers, and Shannon Kim. With the third swimmer now in the water for Century, that's Allie Poole. She's being chased by teammate Megan Hami. Megan just finished that tough 500 as well. For Northfield, they have Aubrey Breen and Hennessy Momberg. Also in the water for third swimmers is Lola Bauman, Addie Crom, Ruby Otterblad, and Josie Bargfried. Century with a comfortable lead, turning it over to the anchor leg, and Chloe Magnuson. Chloe's going to try to beat her teammates 25-4 to start off this race. And it's going to be her teammate, Carly Maley, who's anchoring the B relay, ahead of Northfield's Greta Cordum. So it's going to be Century in a 1:42.69, followed by Century B and then Northfield A. Rounding out the top five will be Cassie Larson for Northfield and Jada Kronig for Century.
Next is event number 19, the junior wrestling backstroke. Swimming in lane 1 for Northfield is Ellie Power. Lane 2 for Century is Lexi Kretz. 3 for Northfield is Melanie Ford. 4 for Century is Emma Lou. 5 for Northfield is Lucy Carlson. 6 for Century is Ron Kirsch. 7 for Northfield is Alana. And 8 for Century is Stella Forrest.
With the completion of that 2 free relay, Century has now garnered enough points to win the duel and keep their duel streak and winning streaks alive. And we're off at the girls' 100-yard backstroke JV. We have 5 entrants in this event that have previous times. And the top seeded time is lane 5's Lucy Carlson. But Lucy's not going to be leading at the first 50. It's going to be lane 4's Emma Wu. And Lucy's also being given chase by lane 2's Lexi Grains and lane 6's Nora Critch. So we're going to have 4 swimmers pretty close after the first 50. Also in the mix in 5th place will be Evie Bauer in lane 1 and lane 8 Stella Morris. As they make the turn for home, a nice little extra kick off the wall by Emma, but it's not Emma's race to lead anymore. It looks like lane 2. Lexi has taken over that lead, and she's heading into the wall. And it's going to be Lexi for the win, followed by teammate Nora, then Emma, and then Lucy. boys 100-yard backstroke varsity. One of the top backstrokers for Northfield's in lane 5, Ella Holleran. Ella finished 4th in sections and 6th in Big 9. And she's got her hands full with lanes 4 and 6 from Century, Delia Wagstaff, and Quinn Barone. So all 3 of those flip together. 4th place is a battle between lane 2, Kenzie Craddock, and lane 8, Amelia Braun. So 3 swimmers at 33, Delia, Ella, and Quinn. It looks like Quinn, who had a little better turn. And it looks like Delia, who's got a little better straight line speed. So both swimmers took a lead or had a lead in this last 75. And now as they turn for home, it's going to be Delia and Quinn who have slight leads over Ella and Kenzie up in lane 2. Delia out-touches her teammate, and so it's Delia, Quinn, Ella, Kenzie, Amelia, and Natalie. And we're off with the last individual JV event, the 100-yard breaststroke. And it looks like leading us off is the newcomer, 7th grader Freya Davis from Northfield. She's going to have a slight lead over lanes 4 and 6, Ariana Barreau and Layla Hubert. Close race for 4th, 5th, and 6th also between Greta, Maggie, and Evelyn. Going to continue to maintain that lead. Ariana still in 2nd and Lila in 3rd. And we still have a battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th with Evelyn, Greta, and Maggie. As they make the turn for home, it is going to be Freya. Giving chase for 3rd now. Up in lane 3 is Greta Peterson. Let's see if she can pass Layla, and she will. So it's going to be Freya, Ariana, Greta, then Layla. With Evelyn finishing 5th. first individual event of the evening. Girls 100-yard breaststroke. This is a chance in the day for Northfield to get a win in an individual event. And it's a pretty good matchup as the top swimmer is in their top event, Greta Corium. She comes in with a 1:13 seed time. Right behind her, though, in lane 4 is Sarah Homme. And Sarah looks really good as she's giving Greta a stroke for stroke. Out in third now in lane 6 is Maggie Hubert, followed by lane 2, Carly Maley. Fifth place will be Riley Rinaldi, followed by Summer Miller and Josie Bugford. So it's still a battle between Sarah and Greta. Anybody's race at this point. We'll see what kind of turn they have. You want to time it just so that your stroke is finishing as you hit the wall so you can turn quick. A little better turn there for Greta. And Sarah's going to have a lot of work to do to try to catch her. Both swimmers increase their stroke speed. They're going to go faster and faster here as they come to the wall. And it looks like it is going to be Greta to get that first win for Northfield in a 1:12.51. Great time for Sarah as well. Maggie's going to get third, followed by Carly, Riley, Summer, and Josie. All right, we're off with the final JV relay of the meet. This is the 400-yard freestyle relay. And like all the other relays, we've got a full pool. 4 Century, 4 Northfield. Lots of swimmers in the pool, and leading them off is lane 4's Amelia Hammer. Amelia's coming off the win in the JV 500, and she looks super strong here in the first 50 of this last race. Got almost a dead heat for second place. Northfield's Natalie Barnesness, Century's Shay Carroll, and Century's Karina Brenisvato. So Amelia continues to set a very strong pace. Looks like moving into second now is going to be Natalie, followed by Shay and Karina. Also swimming first for Northfield is Margot Navarez and Zoe Robinson, as well as Bella Huegens. And Century also has Hyla Mead in lane 2. So after a very blistering 105.39, Amelia gives way to Stella Morris. Northfield is nicely now in second and has Elizabeth McCormick being chased by Emma Wu. Battle for fourth is going to be Matilda Hammer, Summer Wong, and Fiona Flannery. So Stella looks like she's maintaining the lead, and we've got a really still close race for second now between Elizabeth and Emma. Stella continues to lengthen the lead, so at the halfway point, the Century A Relay is going to have a pretty comfortable lead. But Emma Wu in lane 6 has tightened it up considerably, and it's going to now be turned over to Northfield's Evie Bauer. to go head-to-head with Mia Milosevic. Lane 2, Century's Nora Crick now will be faced off against Sofia Schomburek. Also in the pool swimming third for Northfield is Grace McKellen and Whitney Bauer. So a 31-1 for Cora Erickson is going to give them a very nice lead as Evie and Mia continue to battle for that second place spot. So we now have the last swimmer in the water for Century, the anchor, Shannon Kim. And Evie's going to give way to Riley Rinaldi. And Century's going to have Amelia Hanna to do that chase for that second place. The other last swimmers in the water for Northfield are going to be Haley Zellenden, Melody Ford, and Quinn Hall. And for Century, it's Olivia Cornelius and Bodie Funk. So we're down to the last 50 now. Shannon with still a pretty comfortable lead. And it's still kind of anybody's race for that second place. Riley's maintained a slight lead over Amelia, but it's still too close for either swimmer to have more than about a 10th or 2-second advantage. Nice turn for Riley, and she's now got a little bit of a lead as they make the turn for home. Shannon finishes in a 4:26, and it's going to be Northfield who's going to take this. Riley for second, followed by Century for third. And we're off with the 400 free relay with swimmers in, again, all 8 lanes. It looks like Kenzie Brockman and Hollis Holden flipped pretty much together Also in the mix, lane 6 is Century's Paige Pendle. Battle for fourth between lane 2, Kenshi Craddock, and Northfield's Violet Canole. We also have Greta Peterson from Northfield, Lydia Hirschberger from Northfield, and Keaton Schonoff from Century swinging first for the relays. So it looks like Kenzie's going to take the lead after the first 100 with about a half a second lead over Hollis. And now in the water for Century will be Allie Poole. She's going to be chased by senior Ella Porter. Battle for third now will be Century's Katie Dow against Chloe Westerby and Northfield's May Bowers. So the first split for Allie is going to be a 27:46. Distance swims being her best and strongest events. Allie's the one who probably drops off the least in the second half of this 100. So Allie's going to have her work cut out for her if she's going to try to gain any ground. Katie Dow continues to lead her teammate Chloe Westerby, and May Bowers has gained some ground in the chase for that fourth place spot. So in the water now is the third swimmer for the A relay for Century, Quinn Barone. And she's got about a 7-second lead now over Cassie Larson from Northfield, who is going to be chased by Ada Ekholm from Century. Fourth place spot now continues to be Century's C relay and Amelia Braun. And for Northfield, it will be Ruby Otterblad. Also in the water for the third swimmers would be Maggie Turner, Ella Holleran, and Jada Kronig. And we're down to the last swimmer, Addie Crom. Addie's going to relay anchor this as a senior captain. And Northfield's going to turn it over to Hennessy Monberg. She's going to be chased by the winner of the 100 back, Delia Wagstaff. We then have lane 2's Addie Taylor. And then lane 3, Northfield's Aubrey Breen. Lane 8, Century's Lizzie Jensen, followed by Northfield's Ella Otting, and the final swimmer to swim for Northfield will be Bella Watney. So here's the final turn for home for Addie. Century's going to win this race after having won the meet. And it looks like Northfield's Hennessy Monberg is going to try to hold off Delia Wagstaff for a second place finish in this final event. And as the last swimmer wraps up, Bella, we want to thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the live stream and the event this evening, and we will hear you tuning in future events. Next up for Century on Saturday will be the Maroon and Bold meet up at the U of M pool. That will be 12 teams and some really tough, stiff competition, followed by another home duel against Farmington on Tuesday.